So hello, my colleagues. So I want to pick up here on chapter 22, real options. So basically, this section now is called solving decision trees. So many corporate investment decisions contain real options. While the exact nature of these options is investment specific, they can be analyzed by creating a decision tree that identifies decision nodes, and we saw that, right? Decision nodes showing the choices available at each stage. I'll highlight all of these here because we're going to talk about them. Information nodes. So we know about decision nodes and information nodes, showing the payoff relevant information to be learned and investments made and payoffs earned over time. Once the decision tree is created, we can value the investment opportunity by working backwards from the end of the tree at each decision node, where we determine the optimal choice by comparing the present value of the remaining payoffs along each branch, and at the information nodes, right, where we compute the expected present value of the payoff from the subsequent branches. So in this case, right, there was only two states, but it could get more complicated, right? All right, so the first choice, the option to delay investment as a call option. Okay, so we're going to look at this option to delay a project. All right, and it's common in practice. Do we hold off until we get further information? Okay, maybe we don't know all the information yet. Typically, there are costs from delaying the investment decision. Interim profits from the project are lost, costs might rise, competitors may enter. On the other hand, by delaying, you will gain, and here's the important point, right? By delaying, you will gain additional information regarding the value of the investment. So the question is, do you jump on it or do you delay? In general, one must trade off, which is kind of what I just said, right? You must trade off the costs from delay with the benefits from gaining information before making a decision. All right, so let me just highlight that there. So we get that all highlighted. So we're going to look at the different methods to price financial options. Uh, uh, and this is what we previously developed. And we're going to use similar techniques to analyze the optimal timing decision. So consider the following investment opportunity. You have negotiated a deal with a major electric car manufacturer to open a dealership in your hometown. The terms of the contract specify that you must open the dealership either immediately or in exactly 1 year. If you do neither, you lose the right to open the dealership at all. So this is basically the choices that we're making. So you either open it today and you get the NPV of the project today, or you wait for new info. And if you wait too long, right, you may lose rights. And if you open in 1 year, you get the net present value of the project in 1 year. So it must be opened either immediately or in exactly 1 year. If we wait to open the dealership, our decision can be based on new information about the dealership's value, which can take on many values. All right, so you're wondering how much you should pay for this opportunity. So it's going to cost you $5 million to open the dealership, right? Whether you open it now or in 1 year. So that's the initial cost. That's your initial investment, right? If you open the dealership immediately, you expect it to generate $600,000 in free cash flows the first year. While future cash flows will vary with consumer tastes and the state of the economy, on average, these cash flows are expected to grow at 2% per year. So the appropriate cost of capital for this investment is 12%. So they're giving you all the numbers, right? And so you estimate that the value of the dealership, if it were open today, would be, okay? So you can clearly see here, this is the valuation of the dealership, all right? And it's growing at a rate of 2%. And here's your cash flows, right? So you also double check this value using comparables. A publicly traded operating dealership elsewhere in the state exists, and this firm provides an essential perfect comparable for your investment. Right, so you're comparing it. It has an enterprise value 10 times its cash flow. So the net present value of opening the dealership immediately is $1 million, right? Implying that the contract is worth at least $1 million. So you can see it costs you $5 million and it's got a value of $6 million. But given the flexibility you have to delay opening for 1 year, should you be willing to pay more, and when should you open the dealership? We're going to start at the end of the tree, and then we're going to evaluate the net present value of opening the dealership in 1 year. If we wait, then 1 year from now we will have to choose the choice to invest $5 million to open the dealership, or lose our right to open it and receive nothing. Right? So thus, at that time, the decision is easy. We will open the dealership if its value at that time, based on any new information about the economy and consumer tastes and trends, is above $5 million. But because trends in this industry can change quickly, there is a great deal of uncertainty as to what the expected cash flows and the value of the dealership will be at that time. So this is the big question we're dealing with here, is the decision to delay, right? So then we have to compute the net present, the present value at the information node, and we're going to basically use the law of one price, which we've heard about so much, right? Payoff, if we delay, is equivalent to the payoff of a 1 year European call option on the dealership. Right, now this is the important words. It's equivalent to a 1 year, they're equating it to a 1 year European call option on the dealership with a strike price of $5 million. Because the final payoff in 1 year is equivalent to a call option, we can use the techniques from chapter 21, which was on options, right? Black-Scholes and options, to value it. Suppose that the risk-free interest rate is 5%. We can estimate the volatility of the value of the dealership by looking at the return volatility of the publicly traded comparable firm. Suppose this volatility is 40%. So I don't know how they determine that, but suppose it is. Finally, if we wait to open the dealership, we will lose out on the $600,000 in free cash flow we would have earned in the first year. So in terms of financial options, this free cash flow is equivalent to a dividend paid by a stock. The holder of a call option does not receive the dividend until the option is exercised. Right? Let's assume for now this cost is the only cost of delay. There are no additional costs in terms of lost growth of the dealership's cash flows. For example, alright, so table 22.1 shows how we can interpret the parameters for the Black-Scholes formula for financial options, right? To evaluate this real option, alright? So we're doing like a little equivalence. So to apply the Black-Scholes formula, we must compute that the concurrent value of the asset without the dividends that will be missed, okay? So basically they're showing you here, this is taking away the dividends that are going to be missed, all right? And here it is right here, all right? So note that we compute the present value of the lost cash flow using the project's cost of capital, 12%. Next, we need to compute the present value of the cost to open the dealership in 1 year. Because this cash flow is certain, we discount it at the risk-free rate. So this is the present value of opening up the dealership. So this is the present value of the lost cash flows, all right? So this is a table now from showing the Black-Scholes option model, and we're plugging in values for this real option here. So we're equating this to a real option, all right? So now we can compute the value of the call option. We have all the numbers we need here, right, to open the dealership. And basically, you see here, here's the equivalent stock price, right? That would be 5.46 million, right? Which is here. This is the present value of the lost cash flow, right? And here's the probability. Here's the present value that we calculated, 4.76 million right here. And here is, again, the probability. So it comes out to 1.22 million. So this is the value of the call option. So this result states that the value today from waiting to invest in the dealership next year and only open it if it is profitable to do so is 1.2 million. This value exceeds the net present value from opening the dealership today, and this is the important point. You can see the value that's being added to wait, okay? Thus, we are better off waiting to invest, and the value of the contract is 1.2 million. All right. All right. So what I'll do is I'll pick up here because we're about almost 12 minutes into this now, and we'll continue with this problem.